with y'all when I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tag me.
tag me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to what is it, Tuesday? Is today Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Therapy Tuesday at that.
I don't even know what day of the week it is, but welcome. Thanks for joining our therapy session, episode number 2.
Tuesday number 2.
Therapy session.
Let me ask y'all a question. So
You're not going to introduce us first? You got to introduce us. They don't know us yet.
That was part of my question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, let me introduce them. It's so fussy. First of all, we got JT. JT.
Hey. It's me, back for the real one.
OG.
Yes, sir.
Melissa. Or was it Chocolate Bunny?
Chocolate Bunny.
And then we got Jackie Foxy Jones.
Foxy J. Lady Foxy J.
I gotta practice their name.
Lady Foxy J.
Okay. And then there's me, Cecily.
The
Hi.
Diva.
Okay, can I ask my question now?
Yes.
Y'all want to jump into talking about Will Smith? Y'all want to straight?
Well, let's give him 5 minutes, man. 'cause
Can I talk about that?
We have to because
we got to detonate after that, like for
This
real.
is the last 5 minutes we're going to get.
And you're right.
Right.
I think we should talk on it real quick, and then we're going to jump right into our subject.
Right. We give him 5 minutes.
Well, it kind of goes into our subject.
It
kinda
does.
does.
It does.
That's why I was thinking about it.
So, but okay.
You don't think so?
How you don't think so?
Well, why do you think so? Is
The subject is the role of fathers in the household. He decided to play. Yeah, that's the subject. Which subject was that?
I thought it was just a male role and a female role, but that's neither here nor
I
there.
told you last night it was the man's role.
Because a man don't listen.
Yeah, right. I've been missing all those memos.
We heard when we had our meeting.
It was in the notes. It was in the notes.
We heard it. It's just that, there's people at the table that just kind of took
You got to
over.
read the agenda.
And then it was over.
What do you call it after you have a meeting and they send out the meeting notes?
The meeting after
Yeah.
the meeting. Yeah. I like phone call meetings. The text meetings, I kind of get a little lost.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so
This is true.
let's jump into the wheel thing, man.
Let's
Like,
jump
we-
into
we-
it. I'm
we-
going to give my 2 cents last. How about that?
Okay. So we're going around the table.
We're gonna bring it up and talk about you giving your 2 cents.
I just
She's
like
the
to go
hostess
last
with the
and
most.
I want y'all
Okay,
to.
all right. So what do y'all think?
Nah, that ain't
That ain't how you jump into
No.
it.
What do you think?
Y'all want to know what I think.
She
already asked that. Y'all want to know what I think.
I know I'm gonna talk over everybody, so here I go.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that everybody's looking at it in the wrong perspective. Will was wrong and on every level, if you ask me. You know what I mean? Everybody want to spin it off to the Jada and the alopecia and all of that stuff. He never mentioned alopecia. She did look like Jane from that movie, and on top
Jane
of that.
Doe? No, G.I. Joe.
G.I. Jane, and he's a
G.I.
comedian.
Jane.
He was just talking about what she looked like. I mean, there's a lot of people, like from Wakanda. I thought she was trying to do a Wakanda look, man. I thought that was sexy.
You just made it worse.
Yeah, you did.
No,
What you
Wakanda,
doing?
those girls was sexy with that short hair.
I absolutely
I
love
think
her.
she looks sexy with that short hair.
She does.
I think she looks sexy with that short hair. And maybe the alopecia, if he'd have said alopecia or something like that, then I get it. But for him to get up and walk all the way on stage and slap the shiznit out of this thing.
That he did.
You know what I mean? And
I was here for it.
I already know some of the women, like, he protected his woman. He did all of this stuff. But the other cat, man, that was all up in his house, man, blowing her back out.
That has
Yes, it does.
absolutely
I think I got nothing to do with it.
That has
It
nothing
doesn't have anything to do with it.
It
It doesn't have, whatever they do in their household has nothing to do
Here's the
with
thing.
it. That was
Because
has
of the
nothing
fact
to do with
that, here will tell you how it doesn't have anything to do with it. It's 2 ways. One, August Alstina is a little boy. That was
That's even
her
worse.
son's friend. So Will putting his hands on that child is just crazy, right? 2, they have an open relationship.
That's the part.
So if he gives permission for her to
That's the
sleep-
part that
They did.
everybody is
Show me the
missing.
episode that they said that. Everybody else said that.
It's
You always said that.
No, they have said that.
Show me
They have
one clip where it said
recently
that.
said they have an open relationship.
Show me one clip.
Not only
my
did they say
dude
they
is-
had an open relationship, sorry,
No, you're right.
at the time they said they weren't even together.
weren't
They absolutely did say that. That was.
But that's their reason. So I don't need to
Y'all
dictate that.
Exactly.
Oh, come on.
If we got an open relationship and
But-
you say it's okay for you to sleep with him, just do what you gotta do, you can't beat him.
Can I also say that I also agree that Will Smith was wrong? I've never said that he
Yes.
wasn't wrong.
Yes.
I
But
said
I
more
get why
power
he
to
did
him,
it.
and I
Yes.
get why he did it,
Yes.
and I would probably do the same thing about mine. That's what I
Exactly.
said.
I definitely would do the same.
Absolutely was he wrong, because I don't advocate for violence.
Yes.
But sometimes everybody has their breaking points.
Yes.
And obviously that was his. And I'm not going to dictate to anybody, because I can apologize after. I'm a, Lord forgive me.
Yep.
But in the moment, that's something that I probably would do about mine.
Yep.
And it didn't even have anything to do with the fact that the alopecia or anything. It's just disrespect or his breaking point, period.
Period. And keep
And
in
we
mind
all
that
have it.
Chris Rock
Therefore-
did a whole documentary about women, black women and their hair and how it's our crown. So how do you say that and then drill her?
Yep.
He talks too much.
He's a comedian.
He
Yeah.
has a history of going too far, below the belt. And he's been he's been messing with them since 2016.
Because you can't say that. You can't say that.
He's been messing with them. He's been coming for them and targeting them in his jokes since 2016. So there's a reason Will said what he said. Not to mention, like I said, you can't do a documentary about black women and our hair and it being our crown and then turn around and
Turn around
drill her.
and
You can't.
And even he said it
So-
himself.
Yeah.
And he got slapped in the face.
Well, that was the point that he
Right,
needed to
then
make at the
when
time.
he got slapped in
After
that face, it jogged.
He didn't want to
It's
say
the
his
message
name.
on this
But I mean, like,
I think it was real. And
I think it was
looked
real.
like his face looked like it was twisted.
he didn't know what to say. He didn't know what to do.
I sure
I,
hope Jada
didn't
did
expect
something.
I
that.
think, well, I'm gonna start my statement off with the same way everybody else started theirs. Will was dead ass wrong.
He was.
Absolutely.
But I think it was wrong from a whole different perspective. Here we are on this platform, this predominantly white platform, and you hopped on national TV and a black man attacked another black man. Not only that, but Chris's whole stance when he walked on that stage was completely non-defensive, hands behind his back, and you still attacked him. That is what we see happening to black men all day, every day.
This
And
is
now
true.
we see that being perpetuated by another black man. And that is what he showed us on national TV.
Hey man, you shouldn't
That
be
is what
talking
I
about
saw.
people's wife. I think Will was right. That man had a right to protect his family.
Hey,
we was at
hey.
the Oscars, and we was at church,
A
and we was at wait,
Wait, not
or
church.
supermarket.
He said
I'm
Will
gonna
was
cut up that
right.
church too.
I
So we
agree
got
with that.
one right on the panel.
We do have one
We
right.
got one Will was right on the panel.
I stand by Will.
I stand by he was wrong, but I also stand by I don't even think I have an opinion. Either way.
I do. I stand by Will. He protected his wife. You have to protect your wife. You gotta
JT
protect your
face.
family.
Yeah.
You gotta protect. So I'm with him, and I hope Jada gave him some that night. 'Cause he
Hey, and the most important part is
he deserves
the
it.
black folks have took him over the Oscars. That's all we talking
Well,
about.
let's be
Let's
honest.
go there.
If we weren't talking about that, I would never watch
Nobody
or knew
exactly.
nothing about no
Exactly.
Oscars.
I wasn't
So,
tuning in to watch it.
and I didn't
I wasn't
watch
tuning in.
That's the only part of
I
Oscars
just
we
watched
seen was
Samuel
the
L.
slap.
I didn't even see the taping until like 1 o'clock.
Yeah, he told me. I'm like, you didn't know that?
But moving on.
let's go.
And congratulations to Samuel L. because that to me, as far as long overdue that that man got an Oscar.
No,
Will
Will deserved his Oscar.
No, he did. He deserved it. Samuel L. deserved it. But see, I wasn't.
I have a
watching
problem with
Will.
that.
Which one?
I have a problem with that. I absolutely believe that Sam deserved it. But I don't think he should have got an honorary one. I believe he should have got a real one. You don't just give me a here just because.
Out of all the movies,
I absolutely hated that.
He Samuel is the man.
I just hated that moment. But I'm glad he finally got one.
And y'all are aware that the Oscars was directed and produced by
By a
black
black person.
a whole black crew
Will Packer, yep.
this year.
And that's the other spin.
that's the other
That's the
part.
other
Yeah.
spin. I think Will might have been paid to do that, man. He might have just did that to mess
I
up the
don't think
whole
so.
flow.
I don't think so.
You know what I mean?
I
'Cause
don't think he would have
For
participated.
the open relationship, man, and all of that stuff, man, like who cares what he ain't been caring about what people said about Jada.
Yeah, but
I don't
Jada
believe
just
that.
started
And then
talking
at
about
that
it.
place,
Because they've
at that
always talked
time,
about it.
at that place, at that time, you gonna do that?
That was
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
Absolutely the wrong
So,
place and the right
I'm
time.
not
Wrong
saying,
time.
I'm not saying that he
Now, do
shouldn't.
I think Chris should have been handled backstage? Absolutely. That's what I would have did. I just went to the bathroom and came back a little messed up. but I handled them backstage. But
Will ain't
I
never
get
been
why.
like neither one of them have never been like a gangster.
From
But
West
that doesn't
Philadelphia,
have
born and
anything to do with it.
raised.
That's the thing that people make me real crazy about is telling
Right.
people what
Okay.
he's built to do. Y'all don't know what that man built to do.
We've
You
been seeing
only
him for
know
the last
what that
30
man
years.
has sold us over the last 20 or so years, the image he wants us to see about him. You don't know how that man really is.
And he cracked. And we all have
And we all have
breaking
right.
That man's career has been stellar on and off the fucking film thing, and all the way.
He
Can't say it
cracked.
about 50 Cent.
And that's why
You can't
his-
say it about-
So he normal. He cracked.
He just- yeah.
He had a
He
moment.
Correct. I'll go with that.
Right.
He
And
cracked.
everybody
So-
has their
And I'm
own
pretty.
ideas.
Wait, with all that being said, I'm pretty sure
He-
he regrets it.
He does.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Yeah.
He looked like a big old punk after he was a gangster.
I don't think so.
After he got the doggone award, he's sitting there crying and shit.
No, because he was regretting it. Why is he a punk? Because he crying.
But I'm so over the topic.
Why is he?
We
Why is he
really
being
should
a-
move
Why
on.
does he look like a punk?
Because he just went up there.
I
Why
think
is,
Will went
why is
over
he looking
his
like
5
a,
minutes.
Yeah, why,
Went
why
over
is he
5
looking
minutes.
like a gangster when he slapped the girl for his way?
All right.
So let's
jump
segue
right
into the
our
fact that
segment.
Will
Yeah.
felt like he was protecting his family because he was the what?
The father.
Father. So let's go.
Which takes us right into our topic for tonight. So our topic for tonight.
Wait, we segued.
This energy, we're gonna need to do to dial that
You and
back.
Chris Rock friends, ain't y'all?
Like the
Yeah, I
road.
like
They just was hanging out earlier.
Right.
You gonna go beat up
When we
Will?
hang out again, I'm gonna say, man, you gonna let that man slap the shit out of you, man?
TV.
And all you said was, wow.
The only thing I'm gonna say
That's
though.
all he could
The
say.
only
the
thing I'm
best
gonna tell
wild.
Chris is now you know better. You from the hood. You see somebody walking up on you, you supposed to get ready. You ain't supposed to be
Chris
saying.
has
was like-
always been a guy that was never violent.
You don't know that.
From what we've seen, him
Yeah.
or Will has
Seen.
never been violent.
Right.
Parents don't just understand. He didn't have no gangster rap.
They
cracked.
didn't grow up.
He broke.
They didn't grow
He
up
cracked.
with cameras. They didn't do reality TV
Right.
shows. They didn't have cameras in their faces.
Right.
24/7.
So-
So we don't know what they did. With
I
that.
promise y'all, we trying to get away from
We
Will.
are.
We
Yeah,
gonna get away
man, but
from
it's
Will,
just
but we
so-
gonna
it's so-
segue
it's-
into-
Right now.
With that being
Right
said,
now.
with that being said, the role of a man in the household for a male and a female. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. JT.
For a male and a female.
Why is it-
Because you know you're the table and you.
No, you keep going around the table. I don't understand. So you said reiterate that again because I had something totally different in my mind. The male and the female role in the household.
No, the male's role. How important is the male's role in the household?
Oh, I believe it's the most important role in the household.
Now, the reason we touching on this is because Melissa left. We kind of sort of left off on this last week when Melissa was talking about her experience with her son and the support she feels she's not getting, not only from family, her son's family or father, but also the community. So more so, want to kind of talk about this.
Men's responsibility.
Yeah, what's their responsibility and how to come together and help when it comes to these kids, particularly males.
Come together and help.
Yeah.
It's our job. That's our duty. We're the ones that's supposed to protect and guide the family.
He said protect.
He said protect.
Yeah, guide and protect the family.
We're gonna leave protect
We
alone.
don't need that
We're
word.
gonna leave protect alone.
And when I say
Okay.
protect, I'm not saying after 30 years. I'm talking about from the start up. I ain't gonna go slap nobody after 30 years. I'm gonna start from day
You
one.
ain't been slapping him,
You know
you
what
ain't
I'm
no
saying?
slap. Okay, I
You
got
don't
it.
know me. Like you said for Will. You know what I'm saying?
We don't. What I've seen of you, I've never seen you slap somebody. So this,
Yeah, you ain't never seen nobody disrespect my girl either.
Okay. Okay.
They know better. You know what I'm saying?
I was getting ready to say.
You know what I mean? So here's the thing though. Inside the household, and I think this loss, man, is that the father plays a pivotal role in the house, man, and I think that it's been kicked to the side for one reason or another. And I think that the only way for us to get back to having a strong household is being a power couple.
So you said something just now that I kind of want to delve
The only
deeper
way?
into.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go deeper. You said that it's been broken one way or the other. What do you think broke it?
Other things, man.
No.
All right, so there. First of all, I'm
Jump
gonna
right in.
I'm gonna point to the system. I'll point to the system.
What system?
The system that we have out here, man, with the welfare system, all of those things like that. When I was young, a young man, 21 or whatever, and the girl had a kid, we went down to social services. He said that he can. I mean, I'll give you whatever you need as long as he's not living in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I lived in the house, but I didn't have no power. That was her rent. That was her lights. That was her thing.
Okay.
So it kind of messed up the structure.
So
of the
why
thing.
y'all couldn't both go get jobs so that you didn't need welfare?
To be honest.
Oh, well, I mean,
We got a job.
if that was the case, hell, the welfare office wouldn't be there. We went and got a job. We wouldn't look
No,
for
a lot of
I went
people
and got
raise
one.
kids without being on welfare.
I wasn't.
I mean, I do.
Oh, okay,
Wasn't it?
okay,
And have,
okay. So,
and did.
escape for y'all beat the system, man. But if you go down to the welfare office, it's packed.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? So we're
that's
not
not
gonna sit
every
here and act
household.
like, man, that people ain't on welfare. It's just a few
No,
people.
we're not.
We're not
but
saying
you don't,
that.
You
That's
don't
not
live
every
your
household.
entire life, your parenthood life on welfare. At some point, y'all not on that system,
And,
and, y'all
and,
can,
and I agree. It's
y'all
not.
can go
it's-
back to raising children
And
the way you're
some
supposed
people
to raise.
never have been on there, so
And there are
that's
people who
neither
never
here or
have.
there.
Oh.
And some
Come
people
on,
have
guys.
got it on and they
Come
learn
on,
how to
guys.
work the system together.
Right, but I'm telling
And
you.
there's
So,
that.
so,
And then there-
so,
exactly.
what I'm saying is that
Oh,
the
that
system,
goes down.
just because the system
I
said
know it
that,
was just weird. Like, why would you want to ride it and stay on it?
because it's
Because
And everybody got stimulus.
they got their side hustles.
Yeah.
And if I can keep me a side hustle and somebody else
that's
paying
the
my
same.
bills,
Yeah, that's the
I
same
bet
reason
my
why
work-
people ain't going, getting off of unemployment.
I guess I just feel like that
I
keeps you
think-
limited though, because there's so much more that you should want, and it always keeps you kind of limited.
girl, let me
And that
tell
is
you.
the point. If you don't want no better, you're
Right.
not gonna do no better.
Not just that. If you got somebody handing you something on a silver spoon, you're not gonna get it, and that's why I say it's a system. Because I know a young man that was 22 years old that was on social service. He was getting free rent, free lights, food stamps, and everything, and he was physically healthy. Now I blamed him for that, but
Yeah,
I
you
thought to
should-
myself,
you should blame
who in the hell down at the social service office thought he was eligible?
So
Because he
with
probably
that
was.
being said,
Or they
Right.
find loopholes. There's
Right.
loopholes in the
So
system.
is it
You
the-
find, if you smart enough to find them loopholes, you know how to go down there and act like you eligible, look like you eligible on paper.
exactly.
And they
So
gonna-
my question is
But
it
that's
the
a hustle
system
of its own.
or is it the mindset?
Well,
And it's
Right.
not the
we're
system.
talking, it's the
mindset.
system. The system shouldn't be in place like that. Has anybody in this room ever seen a rule book for social service? I have never seen a rule book.
Well, I work there.
Some people go in and can get it, and some people can't. You have no idea why they getting it and why they not.
You
So-
actually, there is a rhyme and reason. There absolutely is. Some people know how to work the system. There are generations of women, and I've seen this, who their mamas taught them how to work that system.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
They know how to work that system. They gonna teach their kids how to work that system. That system grows through it's a generational cycle.
It really is.
They
And I've
absolutely
actually
keep
seen
going.
that, where
So
they just-
if
it's what they
if
do.
you ever have a conversation with a woman who tells you, no, I didn't have to go that route, ask her what her mama did.
But-
I bet you her mother didn't go that route either.
all right, so we're talking about the system, right? So it's easy to say if you wasn't on the system that why would you go on the system? Why would you do that? Why don't you do that? So you're saying a generational thing. So if my mama was on social service and I was on social service, how in the world would my kid know how not to be on social service?
Exactly.
That's the
So
point.
then it's the system. So why is the system making it that easy for us to live for the rest of
It's
our
not
lives?
easy.
It's
It's not.
It's
And
not
again,
easy at all.
I personally don't think it's the
I don't
system.
think
It's the mindset.
Because you
Mine
just
is
said it.
not.
If my mama did
System.
it and her mama did it, and now I do it, I'm gonna naturally teach my children. So it's the system's not
And
being
it's
forced.
it's honestly not easy. It's
Is
if
the
you
system there
ask
for
me,
that?
it's more stressful to jump through all the hoops that they need
Yes,
you to
it
jump
is.
through than it is to get a job.
Than to go
but
get a
you
job.
talking about people who have never tried to go get a job because
Yep.
they've only been taught to do it this way.
Right.
Or they're too lazy.
So you're saying that it's their fault that somebody's handing them money.
Yes.
It's a generation.
I didn't say
That's
that.
a generational
I
No,
don't
so
say
y'all saying
that
that
it's their
y'all saying
fault.
that the system-
I didn't say it was their fault.
Y'all
Nor do
saying
I
that-
agree that it's their
It's
fault.
nobody. Is it somebody?
I said it's the mindset.
It's a mindset.
I think it's
Yeah,
a
it's somebody's
mindset.
fault.
It's what's taught. So it's a generational thing.
Mm-hmm.
As such, you don't have to do it. Somebody can say, "Hey, I don't
wanna
want to
do
do
that."
this.
Yeah.
Like, why we can't do this, right?" So I personally think it's a mindset.
So
The
let's
system is there to help you transition through a time when you may need the help, where you're not in the street, you're not hungry, you're not with no lights. It's supposed to be a temporary transitional
temporary.
tool.
Who said that?
That's
That's
what
what their
designed
vision and their
for.
mission is. If
Now
you
that's
look
not
at
saying
it,
that
it'll
people don't look
look
at it like
like
that. That's what
Y'all talking about the rule,
Should
and I'm
be.
talking about the practice. So you just said that the rule is that it's only supposed to be for a few minutes or a few years or whatever, but the practice is that we got generational
This
people
is true.
doing it.
This is
so
true.
why is the system not being blamed for that? To all right, 5
So-
years.
because
That's it.
children still need to eat. There are still these women or these families are still birthing children, and that's actually the loophole. That's how they stay on.
That's
Because every time you have another child,
That's just
they have to
guaranteed
pay for
someone.
that child. You
Yes.
can't have
I
we
get
don't
you.
want
I
children
get
living
you.
in poverty. Children have to be fed.
I get
It's
you.
not their fault that their mother decided this is how I'm going to do this.
I get you.
They're gonna live in poverty, and that is the choice.
But just like income taxes, once your kids hit 17, you
That's
don't get
it.
no more of that.
We don't get
You don't
no
get no
more.
earned income credit no more. So why
shit.
you think some of these women keep having kids?
I don't know, man. I gotta
It
ask you.
extends-
That's
It
why.
gotta ask your
It
sisters
extends that
that.
free- It gives you that capability to get
Keeps
that
you-
$10,000
keeps you-
federal refund every year.
Keeps you some free money coming.
All right. So I was talking about the system that was trying to break up.
And we just wanted to dig deeper.
The break up the house. Well, it was trying to break up my household. You know what I mean? I actually had a job and I couldn't understand it. But what happened inside the household was because we had to go underground and she had her name on the lease, but I was paying the light bill and I was paying the cable or had the car and different things like that. We always got into an argument. And the first thing in the argument, what you think she said? Get your shit and get out of my house.
Okay. So
I'm not
Yeah.
sure she was gonna say that no matter if it
Nothing
wasn't had
her
to do
house.
with the system. She would have said that.
No,
You
that
could've moved in
wasn't
there.
her house. The only reason why it was her house is because
So
of the
why
system.
did it have to be her house? If you were working and you were capable, why didn't you just
Because
go
she
get
was
your
getting
house?
the free money.
So you wanted
But
to
you
give her
allowed
free
it and
money
you wanted
too?
it.
Huh?
You wanted to free money too?
Remember what I said as a power couple. So if she's getting the free money, I'm not going to. Nope.
So you was down.
Tell social services,
She
get that
was
money.
down for the
out.
cause, down for the cause, down for the
Can't be down
hustle.
with
So
the
that
hustle.
you
You
could've-
can't blame the system. You
So
can't
y'all
blame
saying
the
that she was right for saying that?
no,
Y'all saying that she was on the team?
No, that's not what he said.
yeah, you
She
I'm
said-
already in that position.
So if it was
Well,
my
let's
house,
stop
You
you saying.
so you went and you attacked
I got
yourself.
down with the system.
You
Yeah,
attacked yourself to
Right.
a woman who was living on social service.
Right.
And
Right.
whose fault?
no.
One
My-
stop
my-
you from saying this is what we
No
not
problem.
gonna do. We're gonna go over here and do this.
y'all
This
not
is what
being-
because the
Oh,
man's
we
supposed
being
to
very
provide.
real because you're
I'm
trying to
talking
make
about-
You didn't want that.
I want to know who did
Very
that.
well.
Yeah, who
did
did that?
what?
Who went through the system the right way? Like y'all said, oh, this won't be here for a little bit. And
I
and
did.
that's
I was
it.
on social
Absolutely.
service for 8 months.
8 months, and why did you
I'm
stop?
sorry, I
Because
think
I had a
only-
job.
I
So
think
you
I only
went
got
down there and
six.
stopped.
They
I
took you
know.
out.
Went
They
down
literally
there.
paid my rent 1 month. One
They
month.
paid my
You wasn't on
they paid my
social
rent. They gave me
Absolutely.
RG.
You were- that was
1 month. I got that first.
Hold on.
I got
No,
that.
it is.
I got
Hold
that
on.
security deposit first month rent.
Hold on. They gave me RG assistance. They gave me health insurance, which I actually had longer. They gave me my rent. They gave me, what else did they give me? And food.
Okay,
I took that because I lost my job.
okay.
8 months. I wrote a letter and said thank you, but I'm done. I went down there and said thank you, but I'm done. Well, you don't want to know why? What frustrated me? First of all, I
They
didn't
asked-
like being on social services.
And they asked for
But
more
not to mention, they
information.
asked me to, every time I turned around, I was getting a letter in my mail, need to do this, you need to go over here. You're getting sanctioned for this.
When I
You need-
tell you,
I don't have time for
you
that.
running around more than you would if you was working a regular
Exactly.
job.
Man, this is like the
8
most I've
months.
ever heard. Y'all are the best success stories I've ever seen.
Well,
So,
That's not my story.
No,
It's not my story.
No,
My
because
story.
like, y'all trying to tell me,
That's
y'all
not my
saying,
story.
exclude yourself.
Question and we
Hey, no,
answer it.
exclude yourself. Are you trying to tell me that neighborhood that you were living in when you were growing up, predominantly those people were on welfare and using it?
No,
Absolutely not.
no.
I just sat there and told.
Not
Well,
really.
yeah.
I didn't actually. I lived off Whitten Road. Absolutely.
Oh, shoot.
That's not my story.
Absolutely.
Oh, shoot. I'm talking about
So,
here
black people
on
didn't live
Stout
out there?
Street or somewhere over here in the hood. There was social service was in the social service.
But I
And
didn't
it
live
wasn't
there.
because you were lazy or anything like that. You just didn't have it. Those sisters didn't have it.
And that's okay.
No.
But at some point in time, you gotta get it. You gotta want to go get it and
I'm
get
not,
over it.
I'm not saying that the
I
sisters
stay
are
there.
still there, but they
They're
sure.
definitely not still there.
No, but what I'm saying to you right now is they wasn't there for no month. They wasn't there for no 6 months or 8
That's
months.
fine.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
not question and not you
No,
mad,
no,
but
no,
they're
no.
supposed to be because
I'm
there is a
asking, what I'm
cutoff
trying to do
period.
is like when I ask a question, I'm not talking self.
There are
I'm
people
talking
who-
about what I've seen in the community. You're telling me
But
that
you
when I go
asked us
down
a
to the
question
social
about
service
self.
building,
Right.
You said
You
so.
said self.
You
To
asked
answer-
us a
okay.
personal
Well,
question.
I'm
You asked
asking
us a
now
personal
for the people that's on social service. I'm asking for the building that's filled every morning over there on St. Paul Street. That like so I can walk in there and say, but most of y'all are only going to be here for a month.
But that's not true.
So-
It depends on the situation. Some
mindset-
people go down to social services to stay there. Some people go down to social
Absolutely
services
do.
because they need assistance short term.
Okay, so
They
when
in
was the
school,
last time
they
you
trying to
actually
figure
walked?
things out.
When was the last time you actually been in that building?
Probably 6 months ago. Probably
So when you were in there, did you look around and see what that crowd looked like?
as far as
They were young, weren't they?
I'm getting old.
You seen old people?
I see old people.
You're gonna have there are people who are
I wanna
permanently
know
disabled
why-
that can't work.
Why did you get off? Why did it take you 8 months?
Because I had to get my job and get myself back on my feet. At that time, I took an outside sales job that paid me no commission. So I had to ramp that up, and I ramped that up. As soon as I got my first real full month of work, I stopped. I had no intentions on ever staying on, and I would never get on it again. But I lost my job, and I needed to use it.
I mean, I'll
as a-
never say
do what I
never.
gotta do.
I'll never say never.
Because
But
you
there's
never know what-
everybody has different perspectives and everybody has different situations, and we can't pickle neck everyone into one category. It is absolutely not the case.
Right.
And just as Cecily was saying, some people get on with the intentions of never getting off. So therefore, they do have repeated kids year after year after year because they're trying to beat the system and they're trying to do what they can to stay on that system
Right.
because they don't want better.
Right.
Some people absolutely have a need, a hardship of
Yes.
whatever,
Yep.
and they reach out because they can't make it on their own, and that's what the system is for,
Yeah.
is to help.
Exactly what it is.
Yes.
Some people are just lazy.
Yeah.
So there's just
lepers.
absolutely different categories to the situation, and we can't keep putting everybody in the same category. It just
Well,
doesn't work like that.
I can only go on what I've seen.
And this is gonna be your last comment on it because I want to jump back into it.
I'm gonna let my scene now because I don't want those people out there to think that the welfare system has been a success for everybody, and obviously
has not.
it's been a
Nothing.
success for everybody.
Absolutely hasn't.
Because
Hasn't been.
you only been on there for a month.
There's nothing in
You only been
the
on there
plan
for
that's-
6 months, and you got off and got your job, and great, that's good. But I didn't see that kind of success in there,
But you
especially
also
in
have to
in-
understand
and-
too,
and
my
those that
background
didn't
in
make
terms of
it.
what I came
Oh,
from.
let me finish. And those that didn't get off in a month or 8 months, they I don't want to put them in the stigma that they were lazy and they tried to stay there and they had babies and
That's
all
not
of these
what we're
things.
saying.
That's what
Not
we're
at
saying.
all.
So I'm just saying that these people were on there for one reason or another.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when I say the system, you know what I mean, New York State is different than Florida is, so to speak. When
Right.
you walk back down there with another kid, it was like, oh, you shouldn't have did that. Oh, you shouldn't have did that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they started lowering your thing, man, and you're not getting that kind of money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And further, there's no state taxes, so you know what I mean.
So
Whatever
what
you're
do
gonna
those
get,
people do?
they
Those
get
people
out there.
who
If you see somebody in Florida and they got a couple kids and they got a nice car and a nice house, they got it out the mud.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
but
know what
we're
I'm
not
saying?
talking about them people. We're talking about the people
Again,
who
you
came
putting
down
everybody in
there
the same
who needed
category,
the services,
which is not true.
and
No.
the state of Florida is telling them, "You kiss my ass, I'm not giving you
Right.
shit."
What do
What
they do?
do they do?
They go and get it out the mud. They have to go to work. They have to do what men have to do all the time. We can't walk down there and ask for no money. We can't walk down there. We got to go get it. When I was told to get out that house, I had to go get mine out the mud.
But you just told me you know a 22-year-old pretty healthy man who was
That got
young.
served. Was that in Florida or was that here?
That was one. I know at least 50 other women that were just sitting on there doing what you said. So what I'm saying is that what we're talking about is like, okay, the household was erupted by a system that was put in place to say, hey,
So
I'm gonna give you some money.
I'm about to argue with you.
I'm
That's not
gonna
why
give you
that
some
system
money.
was put in place.
Hold on,
Let's talk about why welfare
I'm not
was put
finished.
in place.
I'm
The
not-
original intent of
I'm not.
social
Let me
services.
finish, and then you
Talk
can
about
then you can go ahead.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So no matter what you think that it was put in place is why
Not what I think, what I know. But go ahead.
why is the rule set for the man to be out the house if we're gonna give you some money?
Because what we look like giving you money when you got an able-bodied person.
You an able-bodied person.
Well, they
Both
don't
of us
see
are able-bodied person.
See you.
No, they
So
take
one-
that. Ain't, it don't have anything to do with that. We're talking about income base. If you have another man in there, that's two incomes, and you need to
It's two
claim both
incomes, and they're
incomes.
counting both incomes.
So that is the
if I
system.
put
It's
two
income
incomes-
based.
If I put two incomes together and it's over a certain level, which is they have a cap, you can't make over a certain amount. If you make over this amount, we can't help you.
And you keep talking about a man. The system goes for if you have another woman in your household. It doesn't make a difference whether it's
If
a man or a woman. It's a household, and it's another person working.
Let me ask you.
You want to be honest.
Let-
18-year-olds. They are able, they can work. Are they working?
So if I bring my homegirl in to live with me, I'm getting
come
kicked
from a
off.
place of
Right.
knowledge.
So it doesn't matter whether it's a man or a woman.
Now let's just take that off the table.
I mean, you asked us where we come from, where we get this.
We're not on topic anymore.
Time out.
We're not on
We're
topic.
going down the wrong road. Like welfare is one
You
of
y'all insulting.
one
That's so
of the things
insulting.
that
What's
can,
insulting?
you know.
You.
You said, yeah, we're
We come.
educated
You.
people like
No, you asked. That's. I didn't say that at all.
What did
You
you say?
said, "Where are y'all coming from?" I said, "We're coming from a place of knowledge. We're telling you things we know." She's telling you this because she worked there. She knows this, right? I'm telling you this because I also have worked in a position where I've had to deal with certain types of issues. I've had to deal with people on social services.
And what-
I'm telling you this
what's my
because
experience?
I know what's on paper.
What's my experience?
I know what I've read. I don't know
Your
what you're, but I'm
experience is
telling you, we're
something from
coming
where
from
you
a
was
place of
doing
knowledge.
something.
And you're telling me I don't know
But let's
what I'm talking
let's
about.
stop.
You telling me I don't know what I'm talking about?
Let's stop here.
Is that how that conversation went?
It was, but let's stop here. Let's
I
stop here.
absolutely did not say you didn't know what
Let's
you're talking about.
You said we're coming from.
You said, I said,
Oh my God, now
you
it's
said,
something
where
like
are
that.
y'all coming from?
What?
I said, we're coming from a place of knowledge, and you laughed. You thought that was funny.
Okay,
Right,
stop,
because you didn't
stop,
say
stop,
you didn't
stop,
include
stop,
me in the
stop, because we're going. This is not where we're
You
going.
put me in the
Y'all gotta
wheel.
What is
stop.
funny?
Time out.
Because you.
So the system is one of the
Segueing
things that
back
we
to the
can look into.
topic.
What is another reason that a man is not generally inside of the home as a part of the family? Now take welfare off. Welfare is off the table.
You know what I'm saying?
Welfare is off the
Somebody
table.
else should answer.
Welfare is off the table. Okay.
The system
That's
was
the main reason.
System
It's
was
the
one.
system.
That's the
That's
main
one.
reason?
That's the main reason. is the
no,
system.
it's not the main reason. But we're done with that. We're closing the book on the
Right,
system.
right. So, give us another reason.
So we have a viewer that said that it started with the crack academic. Shout out to DJ 585.
585.
Thank you for having the comments up.
The
so-
dopest DJ in Rochester. Okay, I got a little plug.
Why the comments not?
Yeah, why are they not on the screen? But that's okay. Jackie, go ahead and read them if you see them.
And then we have shout out to Kevin Noble. Thanks for watching.
Hi, Kevin.
He states that it's hard because men and women are acting as individuals instead of being a couple.
Yes.
There is not a
Okay, so
collective
that's
interest
the
in
answer I was
being
looking for.
a man versus a woman.
That's the answer I was looking for.
That's
What
exactly what I
has it
said.
He said that.
Okay, but then we went off into the system. I went about the system.
No, that's exactly
We're
what I
talking
said.
about a man and a woman and children put into one household. The system is one of the reasons, but what's another reason that it doesn't work? I'm going to go ahead and say compatibility. Get together and you're not equally yoked. You're not equally yoked, you can't run a household. That's my second one.
That equally yoked. Didn't that get us in some trouble before?
I
Jackie.
don't know.
I mean, yay and nay. I absolutely honor, I would say marriage, but every household is not a marriage. But I do absolutely believe and honor and put on a pedestal a household that has a mom and a dad in the household. Those households seem to have better dynamics, maybe a better chance for the family to be on the same page and not be individuals. A lot of time when the father is outside of the household, then there's challenges whether you're in a household or not. But I believe that when the father is not in the household, sometimes the mom feel the need to stand in a position
She has to. She doesn't feel the
where the
need. She
father
has
is
to
lack
stand
of.
in that. She has to wear the pants and the skirt.
She doesn't have
So
to.
if they're not in the house together, there's no way to co-parent where that man is still the man.
Right. She
There's
doesn't
a way
have
that you
to.
can co-parent, but the problem generally, I'm just gonna say from what I've experienced, is whether or not that person wants to co-parent. Because if you try to make it available and they don't want to do it, or again, you're not, like for example, in my situation with my ex-husband, we don't even see things the same way as, like let's say for example, discipline. We don't see things the same way. So I was more the disciplinarian, he wasn't. So we don't even agree on how we're gonna come together and handle the situation with one of the kids. So I was always the one that had to do everything. So this is again where I go back to the not being yoked, not being able to see things and be on the same playing field when it comes down to how, because I've known people to break up, but they were on the same playing field in terms of how to manage kids, and the kids were fine, and they played a very good co-parenting role. Now that's one. Two, people feelings is involved. I'm mad that you're not with me, and so I'm not gonna do what I gotta do and make it difficult, because if you wanted me there, you just let me come back. That being on the man or the woman's side, I've seen that. So there's immaturity, there is immaturity and pettiness and hurt feelings.
Is
and
it
that spills
her?
off
Is
her
it her
kids.
responsibility to let him come back though, because he's supposed to be the man in the house? Should she just be allowing him to come back and be the man in the house?
She
No.
shouldn't have let him leave.
Well, it depends on what's going on in that household that made you leave.
I knew I was gonna get that.
Well,
answer.
you gotta think of your child too. Now, what are you gonna do to your child? Because your feelings is.
Okay, so let me take myself as an example.
Oh, boy.
I stayed in marriage too long because I was trying not to let. I came up in a family where my dad and my mother are still married to this day, 43 years. That's what I know. I don't know anything else. My grandparents are married over 50 years. I have no idea what it's like to raise kids by myself, but I had to learn. I stayed in my marriage too long because I didn't want to bring my kids up in an environment that I, one, didn't know anything about, so I was afraid of it, and two, wasn't how I came up. I wanted my kids to have their father in the household too, but my relationship was abusive.
Let's go there.
Okay.
So should she have let him leave?
Should I have stayed with them and said, okay, we're gonna get them till 18 and then I'm gonna leave?
And a lot of women do that. A lot of women will sit in relationships that are completely toxic. Is that better? Is it okay to raise children in a toxic relationship, or should we just get rid of the toxicity and raise them as healthy as we can
As
possibly?
possibly gets. I know people who have done it, stepped out, said it wasn't gonna work, but came together as parents and killed it.
It absolutely can be done. We definitely should not stay in anything that's toxic. I can't advocate for
Did it
that.
become toxic or
And usually it always
It always was, but you know when
toxic.
you young, you don't
just don't
know.
It became,
anything.
so to answer your question is yes, it became toxic.
Right. So,
It became,
so-
it could have become toxic, or it could have been realized that it was toxic. Because when you're young, you don't even know,
Could I-
you don't know that some of the stuff is just
I
wrong,
think
right?
that's the biggest thing is most of us had our children
When
before
we was young.
when we were young, early 20s, right?
I was married and pregnant at 19.
Early
I was
20s.
25.
That 20, 25.
I was
So
young.
that is that really? Did we really at that time? Do you really know how to get to know somebody else? I don't even really think
Exactly.
you know yourself at that point.
I literally just moved out of my mama house. And a month later, my ex was living with me. I didn't even know who I was yet. But then a year later, I had a baby and I was married. And trying to imitate what I saw my mother and my grandmothers do for somebody that I shouldn't have been with.
So what is the responsibility then for the parent, for the mother? I'm asking mothers because I'm not a mother. But what is the responsibility for y'all then? You got a kid here, and obviously the kid has a father, hopefully, and like do you start dating again? What do you do when a new father comes in or a new prospective father come in the building?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's your absolute choice to be able to date again. The responsibility of the mother is to take herself out of the situation and put her child first,
Right.
no matter what the decisions are. So if you're dating, you still got to put your child first. If you are co-parenting with the father, you still got to put your child first. If you are working, you still got to put your child first. If you're raising your own household, you still got to put your child first. If you're trying to be independent, you still got to put your child first. So regardless of what a woman or a mother do, she needs to put her child first.
Right.
oh, of course. Well, no matter what that is, the father needs to put his child first too.
I was gonna say, it's both of them that need to put their
You know what I
kids
mean?
first.
And I get what you're saying all the way. What I'm saying is that all right. You got we got to that point. You was into this relationship that was toxic for one reason or another, and now we're coming into the healing process. And now I done went and got some counseling maybe or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
And now I am back out here. How do I stop the reoccurring act? You know what I mean?
The reoccurring act in terms
So-
of picking the wrong person. Or
Right. This is what I'm saying.
That-
Because
I honestly don't think you get there until you around our age, and
Yeah.
and it's in retrospect where you realize, okay, there were red flags here, there were red flags here. I should have been with that person. I should have been with this person.
Because I personally believe each relationship, depending
You
on
learn
what
something
each
new.
is, you learn, but they're all reflections of who you are
At
at that
that
moment.
point in life,
So who I am today ain't who I was 5 years ago. Ain't who I was when I was 19. Definitely ain't who I was when I was 19. So I agree, Melissa, that as you go, you kind of just hope you're gonna do something better the next time.
you try.
You try.
You try.
You know,
But
you might get it right.
You might
not.
You might. What you think when you're sometimes when you think you're doing something better, where it'll look better on paper, until you really get into
And
it.
that's
and you're
that's
like,
that's
I done
important
I
because
done dove deeper down
Yeah,
into
like
the
this
rabbit
one's
hole.
worse.
This one-
He's not doing this, but not, this one's
the
doing
reason
this.
why
so-
the reason why I asked that is because like I got friends, female friends that have been into at least 3 relationships that was toxic or abusive.
No, that's a mental
so the
health
question
thing.
is
That
like, is she just picking abusive people, or is she
There might be something
she's
about
doing
her.
something to
I was gonna
make
say
them
sometimes
abusive?
it's
Right.
you.
No,
Sometimes
Sometimes
not.
it's,
You don't. I mean, there could be women
Sometimes
that are
it-
making.
it's
No,
sometimes-
you can't make a man abusive. I'm sorry.
No, no,
There's
no.
no reason for
I ain't
a
talking about
man.
abusive.
There's no excuse for a man to be
ever
abusive.
put his hands on you,
He
right?
putting his hands
That-
on you.
that-
That's
that-
some
that sounds
other.
like a good
But let's
political
just
thing,
be
but that
honest.
It's
happens.
not political.
Let's just
It absolutely happens.
Let's
I
just
know
be
for a
honest,
fact it
though.
happens.
So and I say that
But
because if this girl comes in and she's into 3 different relationships and they're all abusive, but they had no record of being abusive before. She went in there punching them in the face, and then we're saying he shouldn't
Okay,
hit her
but
back.
wait a
He
minute.
should have
Right.
been, and then that should have been the last time. He
Right.
should have walked and never came back.
And never came back.
And she should have walked and never came back.
And never
That's
came
all
back.
I'm saying.
But you're talking about someone who has repetitively been in abusive relationships. That's what she knows. So even when you say, is it something that she's doing? It damn well sure is something she's doing, because that's what she's been in and that's all she knows.
Mm-hmm.
So that man, who I'm pretty sure she's told about her past, when he finds her or he sees her repeating that pattern,
Mm-hmm.
that's on him at that point, because she's already told him, this is what I've been through, this is what happens, and here I am falling right in, I'm as a man, falling right into the footsteps of all the shit she been doing, and I'm just gonna stand here and keep doing it?
Now,
So let me answer that. Let me answer that. So just so we can be on the same page, because I agree with you 100%. So if a woman gets with a guy that he's already got an abusive record, and she doesn't walk away,
Does she know
she's
that?
falling. No, he told her, just like you
He
said
told
on
her?
yours. He told her.
Well, if he told her,
well,
that
if he
she-
told her he
well,
got
no,
his
let's
then I don't
stop.
understand why
I'm
she
gonna go
was
back.
doing it.
I'm gonna backtrack. My backtrack.
Wait, so you mean
I'm about to backtrack because no, I've never been told up front by any man that I like
That-
to hit women.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna
of course
put my
not.
hands
I'ma
on
hit
you.
I'm a Will Smith.
But I might have had a little bird in my ear that said he beat that ex-girlfriend up.
Mm-hmm.
But women, for whatever reason, gonna always think she different than the last.
Exactly.
he ain't gonna behave
He ain't
the
gonna
way he
behave.
did with that one.
Yeah,
Right? With
he treated
you.
you. And the only reason why I said that because you said like if that woman had like several abusive relationships and the guy gets in there and he find himself being abusive to her, he should walk away.
Yes.
But I tried to flip it over and say, okay, if she sees some signs, she should walk away too.
Absolutely.
But now let me just take this. Let me say this. A lot of times, not just abusive relationships, because abuse is not just getting slapped around. Abuse is verbal. You know, your man calling you a bitch every 15 minutes.
Ooh, Lord
Your
Jesus.
abuse is also emotional. So a lot of times it could be what we've seen. Our mother probably was in that type of relationship.
Or our
that
mother
type-
was abusive.
or mother was abusive, or we come from a family where we were taught that's just love, right? There are a lot of women who were taught that's love. Like if he ain't beating you, he don't love you. Now, with that being said, some things is just us.
You don't think that?
Yeah, that has been, I've heard that.
You would
I've
be
heard
so
that.
surprised if you
You would
have
be
conversations with older women where they were
Yes.
literally
Now
saying
my family has never told me no foolishness like that.
Right.
But I have literally heard other women say, if he don't hit you,
he don't,
he don't love you.
you. If you can't make that
Heard
man
it.
mad,
That's a mental illness.
And that's what she just said.
That's what I said. It's a mental health
It's
issue.
a mental
It
illness.
is a mental.
Not to
I think
mention-
you get to when you start to come into realization of self.
Yes.
Most young people don't know who they are because they too busy out here in the world. They ain't
Yes.
sat with themselves.
Yes.
Once you come to realization of yourself,
Don't
you
seeing
start
things.
seeing
Yes,
shit.
yes, yes, yes.
And
yes.
you realize
Yes.
like, damn, okay, this is what I allow because this is the mind
Yes.
space
And I was
in
just
at that
about to
time.
say that. When
You get to a
past the
certain
six,
age,
still-
and then once you
Yes.
realize all that stuff, I swear to God, you don't let none of that go.
You
No, no
sure as
more.
hell do not.
Right.
You
I
gonna
mean-
sit by yourself before you let any of that go.
And I get
Exactly.
that. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna give a shout out to the young kings and queens, man, that ain't falling in those potholes and obstacles. Because
Yes.
there are some young folks out there, man, doing
This
their thing.
generation
They
is different
do.
than
Yeah,
our
they're doing
generation
their
because they
thing.
do a lot different.
They are totally different in some good ways and some bad.
And yeah,
It-
say in
it-
some cases, I'm sorry, Jack, go ahead.
I was just gonna
You
say
right.
it goes right back to mindset,
Yeah.
which is what we said from the beginning. Well, what I said from the beginning. It's a mindset,
Yep.
and it doesn't matter to me how you were raised. It doesn't matter your peers. It doesn't matter the religion. It doesn't matter the church. It's literally the mindset because I could be in that same household with that person saying, you know, if he don't love you, don't hit you, and I can absolutely
And be like,
make
oh,
up in
I
my
don't
mind that is
That's not-
nonsense.
Yes, be like, I'm good on that kind of love, thank you.
So it goes back to the mindset of
Yep.
what an individual wants for themselves.
Yep, I agree with
Yeah, I
that.
think
And when you
I
get a
think
chance
we
to
should,
sit
I
with
think
yourself,
I want to
and-
hear Craig's voice.
Man, y'all going on and on. It's
We about to
like-
sit back and
Well, first of all, we was talking about the man's responsibility, right?
Yes.
Yeah, go back.
And I go back to, you know, we here to protect and provide and guide. You know, and as far as people getting in relationships, if you don't like my style of teaching, this is pretty much women want to try to change who we are. No.
Yes.
This is who I am. I am a hunter gatherer. This is what I'm going to do. So if you don't want to be down in the field somewhere hunting and gathering, then you should find you a leader that,
Wait,
But
so
that's
the
a
woman has to hunt
compatibility.
and gather with you?
or
Is that
you
what
got to
you're-
respect what I do because this is what I'm going to do. So 20 years down the line, hey, Craig, you should go to college. And no, Mom, I'm a hunter and a gatherer.
He's saying a lot. Yeah, he's
He's
saying.
saying
And that's also a
Good.
compatibility issue. Like when you get with somebody and see how this style is and don't match my style,
Then
rather
why-
than force it, just say, yeah, we
This
ain't matching
ain't
each
gonna
other's style.
But that goes back to what we were saying about being equally yoked.
Yes.
If you're not equally yoked,
Yep.
then that relationship is not, it's dead. It's not going to work.
Right.
It's
So-
destined
It's just
to not
gonna-
work.
yeah, it's gonna fail.
So if
And
I'm
you
a-
know it in the dating period. You know in your gut when you're dating somebody, this just ain't gonna work. This dude's
Yep.
stupid, or this
Yep.
dude get on my nerves.
I mean, if
That's not what I like.
if we get together and you move into my house or I move into your house, whatever one we think is the better fit for us, you still got to do what I tell you to do.
I agree. And we're married. I can't
Wait a
do
minute, I
it.
didn't
You
say
gotta be
about that.
honest.
Do what I tell you to do.
I know, there's some feelings, but I can't.
If you just say it different, that might feel different.
If I went as far as if we we go as far as to cohabitate, and I have to trust your lead.
Yes,
But
I
I
don't
don't.
trust your lead.
I'm not moving in with you.
I'm
I
behind
can't
you.
trust your lead.
I'll remind you,
Which is
but I gotta
why-
trust you.
Listen, I told you I was told before that I don't listen. I don't
Someone
listen
don't
because
mind.
I didn't trust your
I don't
lead.
trust your lead. Yep.
That same person was like, she just wouldn't listen. I want to do this, and he got told right then and there. But was you her husband?
Yep.
Was she supposed to listen?
Yep.
Where was you leading her to?
Yep. And with me, I'm very independent. So in order for me to relax that, you have to show me. I gotta see it. I don't want to hear your mouth. I want to see
I have to
that
trust
if
your
I
lead.
put this down,
That you
I'm
got
good.
it. You got
Because as
it.
soon as you show me that,
That's-
But I'm
good.
definitely not moving in with no man whose lead I don't trust.
Exactly.
So
That's
what
what
he
you
just
got.
said is, if a woman went as far as to we cohabitate now, you absolutely right. She's supposed to be listening.
Exactly.
And so
Because we got to the point where we living together. That means I trust
Well,
you. That means
I gotta go
trust
back to what you said, that you're very independent.
Who said that?
I am.
Oh,
I am.
Relax. Relax.
I didn't say that.
You said that you're very independent,
I have
man.
to
So you have to see some things
Yes.
first.
I do.
But from what I understand, man, women are built in with the women's intuition.
Intuition, yes.
You know some things before it even manifests itself
I know
in
I
your
do.
face.
Yes.
You know
yes.
what I'm saying? So you don't have to actually see me physically go in and shovel the front
already
yard and
know.
do all this stuff. You
This is
already
true.
know that if I'm laying in the bed and there's a whole bunch of snow on the ground, that this motherfucker ain't finna get up on me. Excuse me. This person, he ain't finna get up and do that.
And you know what?
You know
For
what I'm saying?
whatever reason, we be like, but I love him.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say that.
But I love him.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that else. Because in the dating period, that's the interview process. We talk about laying in the bed, living in the household, you done passed the interview and got hired. In that dating process, I gotta see some things.
I'm sorry.
Once you pass that,
You're not
straight.
gonna get to my bed if I don't
If
see
you
that.
ain't doing
That's
things.
just me.
I mean, yeah, no.
You're not gonna
We
even
had this
get there.
conversation.
I'm sorry, you're not gonna get
Listen.
into my doorstep.
You not. I
We
have
just
been-
gonna be meeting for
I
coffee.
will put
Because-
myself out
Well,
with
tell me-
You just gonna be taking me to dinner. You can't come to the house unless you
Hold on,
fixing
Melissa.
something.
I have
I'm
been
sorry.
abstinent for the past 3 years.
You coming to the house for?
You gonna
What?
do some light bulbs in? What you
Yeah.
Jesse,
sorry.
Melissa, y'all listen.
I'm sorry.
I have been absent for the last 3 years for that exact reason. You are not coming over here wasting my time, getting between these legs, unless you are showing me what I need.
How's
You
that working
don't
out
do
for you?
that. Right now, it's working out pretty good.
So you
We,
got somebody
we're not
online,
going there.
ready to go
We're
in?
not going there.
I'm not
I
doing
mean, you
that,
asked.
but when I said that, I'm at peace. I'm at peace. I don't have not had for the past 3 years the bullshit that I might have had I not gotten a chance to be by myself, become very self-aware, grow, mature, become confident in who I am and demand what I want and expect it and manifest it. It pays off.
You
Without
don't
saying
have to
yes.
put up, this has nothing to do with you being single
Nope.
or in a relationship.
Nope.
You don't have to put up with bull crap
Right.
if you're dating.
You're
So it
I'm
has
just
nothing to
not.
do with being single.
So if we go on a date, we start talking, a couple weeks have gone by, and I start seeing, and again, I'm not saying that it's the core shit I gotta see. It's not, oh, you need the toilet seat up or you snore too loud. It's not stuff like that. It's the core. I gotta see your core, your character, how you think, how you move. You show me anything in there that ain't right, I'm done with you. And I haven't put
All
up
right, so I don't know the core. What's the core?
your heart, your mind.
Your integrity.
Your integrity. Are you disrespectful? Do you understand your role as a man? Because you ain't come to tell me mine. I know my role.
It goes
You know
back
yours
to
and I
exactly
know
what
yours.
Craig was saying. Basically, it's that, well, what we're always saying about being equally yoked. It has nothing to do with, well, it has everything to do with everything. So we're not talking about just sex. We're not talking about just, if
And
you're
we've done
able
it
to
in
keep a job, or if you're able to pay a bill. We're talking about your, as Cecily was saying, integrity. We're talking about how you are as a person. We're talking about your morals, your values. We're talking
Yes.
about how you were raised. We're
Yes.
talking about how you hold yourself.
Yes.
We're talking about what your religion is. We're talking
Yes.
about what your beliefs in politics
that
is.
stuff.
It's everything. So we can't just put one thing on a table if we are speaking of being in a relationship and being equally yoked, we're talking about it all, and we
Yes.
absolutely have to talk about it. So we can't tiptoe around it.
Yep.
We have to actually be in it. We have to be, observed. We have to be able to talk about it. We have to be able to reach each other.
That connects.
No,
The
before
connect,
we
yeah.
go into that, can you check and see if there's some comments? Do we have any comments?
So we have Gordon Bliss. Shout out to Gordon Bliss. Thanks for listening. He is saying that men mature so much slower than women.
Yes.
We also have a commenter saying that some folks have relationship trauma and addiction, meaning they will be comfortable in a relationship that is full of issues.
Yes.
Oh.
And that's something that you gotta fix. But there are people who will literally roll from one to the next, to the next. To
So
the
do
next
you
to keep
think
up.
that it's ever possible?
Hey,
for two-
Kashonda.
Hey, KP. I'm another woman that used the system
As
as
intended, and
intended.
she did.
Yep,
As intended.
as intended.
You know what? I think that's YouTube.
That's you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And this is
But
Facebook.
go ahead, say what you're saying.
What was I about to say? What was I about to say?
I don't know.
You gotta say that most men are probably the best ever. And you know what I mean? That we women have a lot of issues that we're dealing with, and you guys gonna have to put up with it until
Craig.
we get it right.
Not Craig.
See what I'm saying?
You know what?
See what I'm saying?
Let me clarify this for the audience. This is Craig, y'all. This is Craig.
That's
That
good.
is JT. And I like the way Craig rolls off my tongue. You know what it makes? It makes me
Hold
think
on,
of
say it again.
Friday.
Say it
Yeah.
again.
Craig.
You ain't got to lie,
You ain't got to lie,
JT,
Craig. You ain't got to lie.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, we ain't
I
in
don't think
there.
I got there with JT. I gotta figure Jack.
Just
I gotta figure it out. I gotta figure it out.
Just seem like
Craig.
It's easier. Because we do Friday.
I'm sorry, yo.
I'm gonna do it
But
like
you know why it's
too.
easy? It's easy for me to say JT because I think about the City Girls and her name too.
JT. Okay, that helps. That's gonna help.
JT from the
City
City
That
Girls.
girl's name T.
Yeah, JT from the city, girl.
I did a dance to
I
it.
do a dance. City Girls.
I don't know what's going
No,
on.
she just helped you, brother. She just helped you.
So now we're gonna bring
Yes.
So we got literally 4 minutes left.
Are you serious?
How we want to close?
Time flies when you're having
I know. We just talking and
fun.
chatting like old times, like we always.
Even though we took away all the way off the topic.
Yeah, we ain't.
I think that's gonna happen a lot, man.
We just kind of freestyle.
As long as I hope everybody got something out of something out of here.
I'm pretty sure they did. We went in the
Yeah.
right direction for the right reason, and I still
Yeah.
think there's more to pull from this conversation next week.
We're
Yo.
gonna stay on the same topic.
We
No,
never
but we're
do.
gonna jump off into
We ain't right. We ain't stayed on the topic.
being toxic, baby.
Toxic
Toxic.
relationships.
Toxic.
But please, if y'all see anything or have anything that y'all want to do, send it out there. Post
Shout
it.
us out.
Shout it out.
Let us know.
I mean, because I have us talking about Bobby Brown and why he left No Audition. So y'all
Oh, my
send.
God.
So we could definitely
I
have a
could definitely
conversation.
been that one.
Oh, he came back.
I can tell you why he left.
I know why he
Go in
left.
there.
He
Go
told
in
me,
there.
and I
What he told
understand.
you? Because I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Ronnie was gonna whoop his ass.
Oh shoot.
Ronnie was gonna.
Nobody talking on Bobby.
We sorry, y'all.
Why? 'Cause he was a
I'm not gonna
crackhead?
talk about this right now. We'll talk about that next week. The topic is why Bobby left No Audition.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Like,
Subscribe. Yes, like and subscribe our YouTube
share,
Tell us,
channel. Share
man.
Facebook.
and let us know what you want to talk about.
Let us that part. And
Inbox one
if
of
you
us.
got something you need to say directly to one of these panel members, please.
Please,
say
man.
something.
Please, please say something to JT.
We know y'all
You
know
really
over
can.
here.
You
You know what
can.
I'm saying?
Don't be jumping. Don't be
They
jumping.
know they was tied up in the system.
We always jumping. He always a victim.
JT don't know
6
no women
months.
that use the system
I-
properly. So for all the women out there who use the system as
Please speak
intended,
up.
please let JT
I didn't
know.
know that people use the welfare system as intended. I didn't know.
Me, I'm gonna ride
We
it out.
gotta change this circle, y'all, to be
But
around.
they know some people that
You gotta
didn't use it as
change
intended
the
because they
verbiage,
said.
y'all.
But now you
Generation.
absolutely do. You know 2 people, 3 who use the system.
Well,
4
guess what,
who
y'all?
use the system as
them.
I think I gotta check with her.
But you know.
Let me see your wallet right now. I don't want to see no dog on welfare card in there.
Hey, Ain't no welfare card in my wallet. I can promise you that. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and
Y'all
say if they
abusing the
didn't want to
system.
send me some food stamps, I ain't gonna turn them down either.
Oh,
But ain't no welfare.
We can't
welfare
we
told
can't
me I
say
couldn't
that.
get
We can't
nothing,
say
so.
that out loud. That's against the law.
Oh.
I said no if they send me a
We got-
card.
That's our paralegal. She
Yeah.
doing her thing. We trying to keep us out.
Welfare sends me a card, not somebody else give me a
Okay,
card. I mean,
okay,
welfare says, Cecily, we
cleaned
just
that
think
up
you
nice.
so dope and you working
Very
so
nice.
hard.
You
want
cleaned
to
that up nice.
Here, go fire.
How many of y'all brothers out there got some welfare, man? Some social service.
For real, tell us about it.
Most men don't. We don't
Wait.
excuse
Yeah, tell us about it. Tell us about it.
I know one. I know one.
I only knew one,
I know
and he
one.
was only on
And I
there
used
for
to
a
be
few.
like, if you don't give me that card, give me that card.
What you talking? That wasn't
Not you
yours.
bullied him out his card.
That wasn't yours.
yeah.
Ooh, okay, y'all.
Why'd you take his
That's a
card?
story for another day.
That's enough.
Why'd you take his card? She took his
I'm
card.
done.
I took the man
I'm
card.
trying to.
I took the man card. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll check out
Thank you for tuning in. Let's talk about it. Therapy session.
Let me find out you done took somebody's card. You was a